Hey, this is Brad from Needless to Say. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains excite me. Licks and moans, guests on the phones, I wish Lillian Shade would invite me. Daddy issues. Yeah, admit it. It got you hard. Right here on the Damaged Goods Network.
I got busted, but I still made it.
I go full trailer park.
Hello and welcome.
Was this?
Oh, he's so cute.
Go back to the hose.
That's weird.
I don't know. She seems like a right nut. I'm not gonna lie. Like, she does. Like,
Pardon me.
popped it back in there. Hope he has SARS.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
Would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
Well, look who skipped their meds today. And then it was just like, I should drink less.
Welcome to Daddy Issues. Welcome to Daddy Issues. Are you still there?
Yeah, I thought that was a welcome to me. I thought that was just a welcome to the podcast.
No, that's just you. Nobody gives
Hello,
a shit
V.
who else shows up. I'm Shade. Who the hell are you?
My name is Spud Murphy. Well, Patrick Murphy, but no one calls me Patrick Murphy. Some people call me Paddy Murphy. I don't like Patrick Murphy. That means I'm usually in trouble if someone's shouting Patrick at me. So most people call me either Paddy or Spud. I prefer Spud if I'm being honest.
Nice. Well, welcome. I'm actually moving my mic right now, so you're gonna hear some adjustments. It was a fucking battle to get here. Like an absolute war of technology, and I'm about sick of losing this war. I don't think I'm starting to think like the podcast gods are just against me now.
It's like what's that crappy hippy dippy book that what am I trying to say? That's that crappy Pablo Coelho book that you're always tested right towards the end. The Alchemist, isn't it?
Yeah. The Alchemist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that's probably one of the more intelligent references that have been made on my show. So you and I connected via Facebook, and
That's right.
I was like hunting for guests, and you were brave enough to agree. But you actually had heard my show a little bit, huh?
Yeah, of course. You said them. I'm not going to come on a show and not know what's kind of going on.
You'd be surprised how many people do that.
Yeah, I know, but it's bad form. You know, you got to do a little bit of research at the very least and see what's happening. You know.
Right. Well, and then you actually have like this project that you're filming it, or you're recording it.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is my podcast is called Comedy Cast. So usually I interview comedians and like comedy professionals, so like writers, screenwriters, directors, and just people connected with comedy in the comedy business, I suppose. But it's mostly comedians. So anyway, I made a documentary last year, and it was liked by a lot of people. It got some traction. It's led to a couple of other things. So next week I'm returning back to Ireland because I live in Poland, but I'm going back to Ireland next week to shoot. I'm going to be shooting 3 documentaries. Most of them are pretty much all on my own, except for I'll have the help of 2 cameramen for 2 days. But for the rest of the whole week, I'm shooting everything on my own. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, like in a kamikaze kind of way. Like it's all or nothing. It's all on me.
Yeah, but like I'm actually kind of looking forward to that in a kind of sycophantic way, because I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the car traveling from one interview to the next, and I think that's going to be a good place where I can just kind of, you know, I won't have the radio on. I'll just be thinking of what was a good shot in that, what do I want from the next interview, that kind of thing. So even though I'm going to be very, very busy, I will actually have some kind of valuable alone time, you know.
Valuable alone time. Now that's something I understand. Like,
Yeah,
appreciate
exactly.
as a single mother. Alone time, what the hell is that? Like, I'm like halfway, I'm drawing a bath, and I'm already hearing what sounds like a tiny refugee, like, you know, you have kids, you get it. Like, you don't have alone time.
I definitely get it. Yeah, I have no problem with us starting a little late today. It means I get to stay away from them a little longer.
Oh, that's horrible. I have a question. So you said something interesting, because obviously you're Irish, like clearly, and but you live in Poland. Why?
Yeah. Look, I mean, do you want like the big long romantic story, or do you want the truth?
What's her name? What's her name? How pretty is she?
No. So like, I'm married. I've been with. How long have I been with her? Oh Jesus, 10 years? Is it 11 years? 10 years? It's a long time anyway. We got married like 5 years ago. Shit, how long am I with her? No, like 12 years. Then I've been with her, and. Yeah, we moved over to Poland because she had her parents had moved out of an apartment, so they have a free apartment going. The recession had just hit Ireland very, very badly. There weren't many jobs that I could get that were paying. There was lots of like, media jobs that were like internships and crap like that. But who the fuck wants to do that for no money? So yeah, we left Ireland, came over here, and I hated it for the first couple of years. Absolutely hated the place.
What did you hate about it? I'm curious. Like, what did you dislike?
I hated my job, I think, and I hated I didn't like the city I was living in. The only thing you can kind of do as a foreigner over here is to teach English, okay. And I mean,
is that like job availability?
I was okay as a teacher. Sorry?
Is that a job availability issue? Like, that's the only positions that are open?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like it's mad. Like in some European countries, like you can walk into Switzerland with like almost no qualifications and only able to speak English, and the government will actually find you a job. They have this thing that they have such a low unemployment rate that they will get you doing something.
Oh my God, over here, I need to move.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I need to move right now.
Switzerland's fucking utopia, man. It's awesome.
Is it really? Like, why aren't you there? I already know.
I don't know.
Like, there's a whole story. Like, I fell in love, and I'm in a shitty place, and like I'm working a shitty ass job.
No, but I love it now. Like, what annoyed me about teaching is that I was teaching a lot of people who didn't actually want to learn English. They were just kind of there because their parents made them go, or it was like I had so many like fucking middle-aged women who just wanted to learn English as a hobby. I was like, you fucking time waster, stop wasting my time and your time. Like, what the hell are you doing? And like when you say to people, I had all these like lonely middle-aged housewives, they're like, oh yeah, that sounds nice. And well, maybe not middle-aged, they're a bit younger than that, but you get me. There was no romance. It was just crap.
Yeah.
And I didn't like teaching those type of people. So I just kind of worked hard and tried to get doors open. I got better jobs. And eventually then I moved out of the city I was living in, which has higher pollution levels than like Bangladesh. It's fucking shithole, man. It's horrible.
What
they used to have warnings on local radio saying that like if you don't have to leave the house today, don't. I was like, well, what about the what about all the people who have jobs? They're not supposed to leave. No. What? And people live in this shithole. So we moved out of there and we moved close to the mountains, and now I'm totally back in love with Poland. I really love the place now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, so you're in Poland. You're doing a comedy documentary, and who are you going to be profiling? Anybody like I fucking American, so anybody I would know?
Oh no, God, no. You won't know any of these people at all. No, see, that's the thing on podcast. I generally look for new and up and coming comedians that you won't know. So, like in the 2.5 years that I've done it, I have some of the people have already gone on like to win some awards with BBC and some awards in America, and many of them have gone to do TV work and radio work now. So it's just kind of the podcast is kind of aimed at people who want to find out about the future's kind of stars or the future comedians who they'll probably see on telly in 2 or 3 years' time. Like for many of them, it's their first proper interview and stuff, which is mad. It's fun though.
Oh my God, I love this idea on every level. I wish I were... okay, so technically my show is a comedy show, right? But I don't consider myself in any way a comedian. Like, I feel like to do stand-up takes a whole lot of balls, and I am not there yet. Maybe one day, but like not today.
Well, like, if I think you should try it, because if you try it and it's really, really bad, I mean, that's also hilarious.
That's also, yes, exactly. I could, okay, this is why I have hesitation. This show is on the Damaged Goods Network, and last year we had a roast, and I bombed the fuck out of it. Like, I actually like facilitated the entire fucking roast, wrote jokes. Like there were other guests that they had, and like it was a really great show, right? But I failed at the joke part. I'm actually way better. Well,
did you go too far or not far enough?
You know what it is? I'm better on the fly. If it's organic, I'm so much better if it's not planned. Like if I can get a sense for you, I'm ready. I just need a minute. Like let me just figure out what buttons to push and I'm on that shit. But if I have to write it out, like we did, and I'm really glad my co-host and I did this like pre-recorded thing. She's out of tech right now, otherwise she would be joining us at the moment. But like we did like a pre-recorded roast, which I'm so fucking glad we did, because if we hadn't, I would have totally bombed our segment. Like, if it was really up to me, because the thing is it's like, I don't know if it was a timing or a tempo issue, but I know that when I'm just interacting with people, I can fucking make your mom cry. So it just it's all about like the situation. I think for me, if I had a room of people to play off of, I'd be fine.
Yeah, no, I get you. I totally get you, because the thing is, you can see from people's body language, like whether you can push something or not.
Exactly.
And if you get a giggle, then you can push it.
Right.
If you get nothing, then you need to change subject.
Right, and you can also kind of feel them out. Like, are they even interested in the vibe that you're pushing right now, or do you need to switch gears? And when it comes to writing an actual joke, I feel like that's a talent. You actually need to know in any context what's gonna feel pretty well. And that's difficult, to be somebody that's edgy and interesting, but not abrasive to the point where people won't listen to you. That's a fine line to walk. So
it's
are you
hard,
a comedian?
Sorry?
Are you yourself a comedian? Is that what kind of inspired?
No. I suppose I am a journalist. That's what kind of my kind of angle on this. I'm coming at this from a journalistic type of thing. I want to get to know the nuts and bolts of comedy, but also kind of, the kind of, to sound all fucking culture studies, to get to know the person behind the performer, Okay.
Like the behind the music of the comedian.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
I love that. That's really cool. Okay. So now, aside from like a podcast app, where else can they find you?
So thecomedycast.com is probably the best place, because on that there's my links to social media. Probably Instagram is the best one, because I put little snippets of the podcast up pretty much every day. And on the website as well, you can watch a documentary I made last year called Funny How. It was like a TV pilot, so you can watch that. It's about stand-up comedy in Ireland, and it's very good.
That is so cool. This is so cool. How did you find me on purpose? Like, I've been trying to field guests that I was actually interested in. So far, you're already...
You've been on my life.
No, like, right? I just needed to look a little bit harder. But I'm speaking of looking, by the way, I get easily distracted, so I'm not even going to complete that thought. I'm looking at... Is that your real beard? I know that sounds like a stupid question from an American, but seriously, is that your beard?
Which photo are you looking at?
The one here
I got the camera on. Yeah, no, it's got. I've shortened it since then. Yeah, it's much shorter. I'm less Taliban-y now.
Less Taliban-y.
Yeah. Look, you have to be traveling in flights in Europe. The security, they really don't like people with beards.
Those random checks aren't that fucking random, are
it's
they,
just like you guys, like the North Americans are fine, because you never have to ask a North American where they're from, unless they want to make the difference, like I'm Canadian or American, whatever, because it's so fucking obvious as soon as you guys open your mouth.
Yep.
Oh, you're American. They're not the terrorist.
They're not
but they see
the
me,
one. But honestly, I feel like, I don't know, I've not been to Europe yet, but I feel like I might be too much for certain parts of Europe. I feel like there might be parts of Europe that would want to throw me back out. Like, she doesn't belong here. But then you get to like Amsterdam and they'd be like, oh, she's fine. She's low key, like real low key, because it's kind of hard to market. Yeah, I'm a nice person, but I'm also into BDSM, and like I think that it's really cool to laugh at inappropriate shit that, I mean, quite frankly, most people aren't laughing at. Yeah,
no, if you did the whole BDSM thing, then do you want to hit up Germany? Like,
oh really? Yeah. Oh, you know what? I've heard Germans are extreme on a level that maybe I can't even handle.
Yeah.
Like they've got
'cause
machines.
I think that the Dutch kind of like to show it off, but the Germans they go deep and hard.
That is
From what I've
the
heard.
fucking point. So I have a question. I'm gonna pick your brain a little bit because like we have this segment called Ask a Dude, and I was just curious because I only came up with like one question. But okay, so a couple of questions. This isn't dude specific, but like before this, what were you doing? Before you were doing the documentaries?
Before the podcast, I was actually working for my wife. I kind of still do a little bit of work for her. She's a graphic designer. She sells images on, like stock images,
like Adobe
like Getty,
Photo
stuff like that. So
yeah.
that's her business. And I was helping her with that. Before that, I had been like a proofreader, copywriter, and yeah, kind of boring jobs. But yeah, I actually kind of like proofreading. I like finding people's mistakes and telling them they're wrong. That's the best part about proofreading.
Do you use the red pen like my ex-favorite teacher, like to just highlight your shame? Do you do that? You're like star it and circle that shit.
Yeah, I was such a fucker that like there was times when I would just send stuff back and like I can't do this, it's so bad, and they'd be like, okay, what? And I said, well, you still have to pay me, you took my time, so and then they'd rewrite it, and then I'd get extra money. Woohoo.
Man, you Irish drive a hard bargain. You're like, you know what? I already did this. Even if you don't like it, it still was done, fucker. Man,
yeah,
where do I get your job?
I remember one kid came back to me one time. She had done I was helping her with her thesis, and it was about 60 pages long.
You were helping her.
It was quite interesting, but for the life of me I can't remember what it was. And she wrote back to me a few months later, and she's like, I failed my exam. Can you give me the money back for correcting her paper? And I'm like, no. What the fuck are you talking about? And then she sent me the email from her professor, and he had gone through like why she failed basically. And then I wrote back to her. So like I had to translate this fucking email for her, like into English that she understood, because her professor was using crazy English, and she's a native Polish girl. Her English was very, very good, but she didn't understand the professor. And then I had to tell her, no, you didn't fail because of the content. No, it was because of the content, but it's like it's got nothing to do with the writing. It's because you totally missed the points that you were trying to make.
Right.
So the poor kid, she had to go and do it all again, and that was the last I heard of her.
Bottom line is she sucked and didn't realize it. And here's the worst part about that. She probably still graduated, and she's probably doing something with that degree right now. Is that comforting for anybody else? I don't know. Depends on the field. Like if someone were like bottom student of their class and they're about to cut me open, I got questions. But you know what? I don't even know if you graduated at the bottom of your class, because you're not going to be like, hi, I'm Dr. So-and-so. I was a C student. Like,
yeah. That's it, innit? You have no idea who's writing the prescription at the end of the day or nothing. You just don't have. You just accept that. Oh yeah, he's been to college. It's okay. But which college?
He learned
no idea.
Some stuff.
He knows things.
He did some remote learning, and he also dissected a frog in high school, so he's ready. Orthopedic surgery is his deal. It's fine.
That's it, man. That's it.
I only make that joke because right now I have a fucking bone infection, and I'm like looking down at my leg on a regular basis, like no one can even tell how fucked up you are right now, and it's because some surgeon had some wild idea that didn't work out for me long term, as it is now. So, okay, so. My mother is she's first generation over here from Ireland, and she went to Ireland and then was like, I'm never going back. And I was like, why? And she was like, there is nothing to do except in like the city. Is that true?
It depends. Yeah, mostly it's true. Yeah.
Like she said that places would be technically open, but not actually. Like she made a comparison about I don't know if it was a restaurant or a bakery or something, and like. The guy was open but didn't have some sort of delivery that day, so like they were open but had nothing. And she was like, so why? And he goes, well, I mean, I still had the time, so I just figured I would show and greet whoever came in, and there is tea. I was
exactly.
This isn't. I was like, I don't think that. To me, that's a selling point. If you offer me tea, and I don't have to pay you money for it, yay.
Oh yeah, just go in for a chat. Like we have small talk down to an art form in Ireland. Like I honest to God, I know people who have friendships just based on how deep they can go on small talk. Like they know
like
very little actually about each
level.
other, but because they've known each other 50 years and just talk about the weather and sport, then that's a platonic love right there between two men.
Yeah, you're
rural
like,
men.
That's your coffee buddy, but like you don't know anything really about each other's lives. Like if you saw him get in a different car, you'd be like, I didn't even know he drove that.
Something like that, yeah. Look, it depends where you're from. I'm from a very rural part of the southeast of Ireland. Like my village is like 1,000 people, and then like the hinterland is another 1,000 people, and it's not too bad. It depends. Like when I was growing up, like this will tell you how Irish I am. When I was growing up, the village had 7 pubs. Now it only has 2. We'll have another one soon. There will be 3. But it's like everywhere else in the world. Just a lot of people are moving to cities for work and stuff, you know. So a lot of these smaller places, they're just kind of dying slowly.
That's
pretty
perfect.
sad.
Let that bitch die. I'll move out there. I just want my horses to have some room to run where I can take a nap, smoke some bud,
That's it, man.
grow off the land.
If they could just fucking fix the broadband internet now in Ireland, then it would be perfect.
I was actually going to comment on how solid of a connection you had, but then you said, well, you were in Poland, so I'm like, fuck it. It's not even true.
No, well, it depends. Like, there are, I think it's about 80-something% of the whole country has broadband now, but a lot of rural places still don't have it very good, you know. But I mean, you just Google which villages have it, and they tell you, and then you can move there, and like it's pretty cheap to live in the rural parts.
Okay, what's the dating scene like? Because times are tough here in America. The options are slim.
Among my friends, it's all Tinder.
Yeah, but like if there's only 1,000 people, you're gonna swipe right so many.
Oh, sorry,
times.
in the place I'm from. Oh no, it's no, you don't shit in your own doorstep. No.
Oh, it's that bad, right?
Yeah. Everyone's been with everyone. A lot of stuff gets passed around. No, just you're better off like trying to get like a girl from like a couple of villages over. You know.
I love the fact that we're in the 21st century and you guys can still say villages. Like that's epic. Do you have cobblestone roads and shit out there?
In the main town we would, yeah. Like
the main town. What's the rest of it? Dirt?
Well, no, because I mean, like we use kind of different words for stuff in Ireland. Like what I call town is like the main municipal area, which is like a 20-minute drive away.
Ah, I got it. Okay.
That place is fucking ancient. That was like established by the Vikings in like the year 700 or something. So that has lots of cobblestones and little walkways that the Vikings used to use to find Irish women and rape them and have their way. But then again, I mean, if you're an Irish woman and a big strapping Swedish man comes along, I mean, you're not going to put up much resistance to them. They were fucking fine looking lads, you know.
I gotta be honest. If a fucking Viking comes through to pillage the village, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna let him do that, because you know what? He's fine as fucking hell, and that's gonna work for me. Throw me over your shoulder and against the wall. I'm ready. Like,
I would too. I watch Vikings. I'm like, they're all nice lads. You know?
Dude, Ragnar is my shit. Seriously, if you want to know my perfect man, if you're a gentleman and look like that, you're in. Apply. Go ahead. I promise you, your results will be good. Like, to me, he even disciplines his women. This is perfect. It's exactly what I look for in a man. Like, yeah, grab me. I need that belt over here. Like, just give me a minute. I think I need to move. I think it's time for me to relocate and go global. I've been talking to my co-host about this for a minute, and you're really, really pushing my needs in that direction.
Look, okay, so I'll try and put you off it then. It's the weather. The weather is the single worst thing about Ireland.
Okay,
like,
now find me a country where I could still have my Viking and decent seasons. Does it exist? And
no,
where is
you
it?
won't. You won't. Ireland's not in the UK though, so you know that's a thorny issue.
Well, I know, but I need to be in the UK for my co-host. That's why I said
Yeah,
that.
well then I suppose probably the best weather is like the very, very southeast of England, Devon, where you're very close to France.
You almost
Is it
sound
Devon?
resentful.
Devon, yeah, well, you know, I'm Irish. I'm not supposed to like them.
When blood never dries. Like, taking that back down to the Cretaceous period.
And you know, it's kind of a tricky time of the year, because around this time of the year, on the 11th of November, the British wear these little war poppies to remember their war dead.
Do they
now,
really?
The problem with remembering the war dead is that many of the soldiers shot Irish people.
Right,
You know?
exactly. You're like, this is still offensive to us.
Yeah. And okay, you can do that in your own country, and that's fine. And what happens every year is that there's a particular Irish soccer player called James McLean, and every year he says, I'm not wearing it, because he's from an area of Ireland, of Northern Ireland, where 16 people were shot dead for no reason. They were having a civil rights march, and every year it just gets turned up a notch, the anti-Irish, anti-Catholic stuff. It's awful. And then you got Brexit mixed in. Like, if I was you, I would not move to England. I'd move to Scotland. Scotland's amazing.
I've heard that, actually, and they're horse friendly. They let you take your horses there wherever the fuck, pretty much, it sounds like.
I didn't know that. Ireland's pretty good with horses as well, actually. You know.
Okay,
But,
do they? I know this is true of the UK. I don't know if it's true in Ireland. Do they pay you to have land with horses? Like in certain parts of the UK, they basically want you to farm it, so they pay you to have your livestock on it.
Oh, kind of like subsidized land, yeah. You can get some of that. Yeah, it's not
shit?
great. I mean, the
Okay.
thing is with farming in Ireland now, you need to have a lot of land to be profitable,
Right.
really, you know.
Right.
But then again, if it's something like horses, if you just have like riding stables where you teach people how to ride, that's a decent way to make money, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so it can be done.
Do you have a favorite comedian? I meant to ask you this earlier.
You know,
I almost feel like it's unfair to ask, by the way.
yeah, it's kind of like. It's like, what's your favorite Led Zeppelin song? You're like,
Right,
Jesus Christ, how do you pick that? It depends. I mean, like, I'm a huge fan of Scottish comedy, so like Billy Connolly and Frankie Boyle I'm big fans of. There's an Irish comedian called Tommy Tiernan. You won't know him, but he's kind of seen as the godfather of modern Irish comedy, and he's still performing. Like American wise, I mean, Bill Hicks is still a favorite.
You're a Bill Hicks. Okay.
Like I want to like Louis, but I'm not allowed to like Louis because he's, you know, he fucked up, and he fucked up badly, and he's gonna have to grovel for forgiveness for that. But like if you just take that out of the man, if you take that away, then he's just one of the most influential comedians that America's ever produced.
Yeah, you take the boner away, and he's almost not even a man.
Yeah,
He's like a whole different guy.
I call this the Kanye West syndrome. You know, like if you just. You can like his music and still hate him. That's fine. You know that's
what?
okay.
I fucking identify with that statement. So there's times where Kanye speaks up, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, but please keep going. I just need to know where this goes.
Shut the fuck up and go make a new album. Just shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Like, you're good at what you're good at. Shut up with the rest. Like,
exactly. Why can't you be happy?
yeah, that's the other pet peeve I have about truly famous people. Like, if you are that loaded, I know your life is chaotic as shit, because I've had enough exposure to the industry to be like, I know what your schedules are like. I feel for you, and I know that can be draining. But that all said, make better choices, people. Come the fuck on. You're rich. You know, like, the blow is easy to find. You know, your wife is like an 11 on a 1 to 10 scale. Like, stop fucking around. I don't know. To me, it's simple math. If I had a hot bitch at home to come home to that also wanted to blow me, I would not be hunting. Just saying.
But it's the, what do you call it? It's the thrill of the chase, isn't it? I mean, you always want what you can't have.
Honestly, yes, exactly. Okay, now there's an interesting question. What do you think leads, not that you've done it, or I don't want to out you if you have, but like, what do you think leads men to cheat?
When their wives cut their hair. There's scientific research on this that when female spouses cut their hair, then the man is I think it's 3 or 4 times more likely to cheat. So ladies, don't cut your hair. Long hair is lovely.
Okay, so now it's not restyling it. It just has to be long.
Well, no, it's I think they proved this by saying that the man would cheat on his wife who had cut her hair with a lady who had longer hair.
Oh, okay.
You get
Gotcha.
me? Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So there you go. Yeah. What else leads to cheating? Just I think it just boils down to just not communicating anymore with someone.
Okay, well, hold on a second. Don't you just think that sometimes people cheat because the person they're with is just a dick? Like,
oh, yeah. Of
not
course.
saying that it's right, but like, if I had to come home, I've been married. I didn't cheat, but like, I've been married and divorced. And I'll tell you this: if I had to come home to a motherfucker all the time, and they were, because I've done it, I wouldn't do it twice. I'd probably cheat the second time around. Like, I'm not gonna. If you're not fucking me, like, we're done. You have to be this long and hard to ride this ride. Please stay on it. But generally, like, I always have asked men in general, this is like one of my cornerstone questions, why do men cheat? Not you personally, but just why do you think that men cheat? And I get different answers.
Right. Huh.
So you think it's changing the hair?
I think kind of I think the most basic thing would be just that communication stops and you stop kind of doing things that you both like doing together, right. And then just kind of resentment kind of starts to get in then, and then you just start looking elsewhere, you know. I mean, even something like a difference in sex drive can be put down to a breakdown in communication, because that's just one person not telling the other person, look, I'm not as horny as you. We need to figure this out if we want to stay together, because, you know, if you're not having sex, then what's the fucking point in being together? Like, really,
thank you.
You know?
Fucking thank you. Let me tell you something. I totally agree with what you just said, because it's like, short of a friendship, if you're not fucking, that's the only thing that's supposed to be different together versus everybody else. Like, I have other friends, and I have even male friends that I don't fuck. It's not an issue for me, you know? So, like, to me, I don't feel like, well, you can't have opposite sex friends. Yes, you can. I'm grown. Like, if the way I look at it is, it isn't that difficult to be faithful to someone if you want to be.
Of course, yeah.
But if you don't like that person and they start turning into a real shitbag, like, I'm not saying it's right to cheat, and I'm not saying I would do it, but the more time goes on, and I don't know if it's like I'm getting more jaded or just I'm getting older and I'm like, fuck it, I get why you'd cheat. Like, she's an asshole. But then I'm like, well, that's still fucked up. You know? So I'm just always curious, like, what unravels it? And I think you're right. I think communication is a very big part of it. Because if people don't feel understood or their needs aren't being met on even like the most base level, then you're not going to want to screw anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Shit. The more you know. I'm gonna grab you on like a word association thing.
Okay.
So first thing that comes to mind when I say these words, and I'm only gonna do this with 3 words, so you don't have to feel it like it's not gonna be that painful. Ready?
Okay, let's go.
Hot chick. It's actually 2
Dick.
words. Bong.
Smoke.
We just became best friends. Strain.
Strain the spuds. Strain spuds, yeah.
Okay, alright. My kid was sick today. It totally threw my shit off. Like, I was sick with him. I don't know if you can kind of hear me coughing, whatever, but nothing like your kid waking up earlier than you can and being like, oh, I'm sick.
Mom, my belly's sore. Say, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
You're not staying home. You're not. I don't care. You're
Do you
going
send him anyway?
No, well, once or twice we have, yeah, and we're like, they're gonna call us in like an hour. I'm like, yeah, I know, but at least we have the hour.
See, I hate that, but like so many parents are doing that, and my kid's new to the whole daycare thing, so I'm new to getting sick with him.
Yeah,
and it's been great because I don't have health insurance. It's fantastic. Trump Care 2018. It's great. It's wonderful. I don't know what's wrong.
Go fuck yourself,
You guys have, well, not you, but the UK has Brexit. Total shit show. We have Trump. Fuck. And then, what does Poland have going on over there?
Poland have a populist kind of, they're kind of right wing. But they're a very strange political party. They're like I don't know. I honestly don't know how to explain them. Well, first of all, they're called the Piss Party, right?
Piss Party.
So that's very funny. And then they were against the party called PO, which is the Poo Party. So there was the Piss and the Poo Party, which is very funny. And so they're like very, very right wing economically. But very, very right wing economically and socially, but they're very, very left wing when it comes to government spending. So like it's very easy to get money from them for like healthcare. What else? They give money to farmers. They give money to teachers. They build a lot of or they're building roads and schools and hospitals and all that kind of stuff. But they're also very like narrow-minded racists, pretty much. But get this, like they're actually fake racists. So like they're racist in their campaigns. They're anti-immigrant, they're anti-this. But actually, Poland has given out the most visas to non-European workers from any country in Europe over the last couple of years. So like
they talk shit, but they're not. There's like bark and no bite.
They're talking shit because they know that they can get this cheap labor in from like Ukraine and also from Asia, but they'll say that they hate the immigrants.
That is
because they know how their bread is buttered. They know that they need like the old people to vote for them. So they're wankers. Like when Trump was coming to power.
To power, yeah, that's the way. Fucking isolating that. Coming to power, yes, sir. Go on.
I could see he was kind of mirroring a lot of stuff that the leader of the party here in Poland had done as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
how'd it work out for him? He's still the leader, isn't he?
Yeah. So they're a bunch of fuckers, but also like honestly, I was scared that I was going to have to leave the country when these guys came into power. I was making plans to move and stuff. I had spoken to like the embassy and the Irish embassy and shit, and they were like, "Yeah, we might have to leave. We don't know. Let's just see what happens." And then like within like a couple of months, it was like, "Nah, these guys, they're just fucking full of shit," So I'm safe as houses, and I actually like Poland more than I've ever liked it before.
Okay, so what's the weather like in Poland? I have no idea.
It's great. It's proper 4 seasons. So like cold winters and very warm summers. So yeah, you can go skiing.
Is there
in winter and
lots of mountains? Like, is that a thing?
Yeah. I live really close to some of the smaller mountains, which are like close to like 1,000 meters around that. So 300 foot kind of thing. So they're not massive, but if you go more south, then they get much bigger.
How strict are you guys with medical marijuana? Like, do you even allow it?
It's only for people with pretty bad, what they call it, fits, like epilepsy and stuff like that.
Oh, great, I'm in.
But you can cross the border into Czech Republic, and it's what is the legal thing in Czech? In Czech, it's not illegal to have it. Yeah, it's illegal to consume it, but it's not illegal to have it. So like you actually have to be caught smoking.
Oh.
So like if you have it in your pocket,
so I have it
like
in my pocket, they can't do shit.
No, and then they wouldn't, because it's like, fuck it, whatever, man, it's just weed, no one cares. So they'll probably legalize it properly pretty soon, Czech Republic, and then it's only a matter of time before Poland does as well, really.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for that. Because sister can't travel well without her medicine.
Well, where are you in the States? Is it legal
I'm
where you
in
live?
Yeah, well, it's not legally legal. It's not federally legal anywhere. You knew that, but
Yeah.
in Florida, it's medically legal. So
Okay.
I have PTSD, which all of our listeners already know. They've heard me rant, so I'm sure they can imagine. But as a result of that, I use certain strains. Like, not all strains will work for me. Not all weed works for me. Some weed doesn't affect me at all.
Okay.
But you know,
So do you have to take stuff that has like a high CBD content or the opposite?
I need the fucking mega bullet because I have almost died so many times that my body is just like resistant to a lot of things.
Oh fuck.
Because it built up a tolerance to like all the medications I was supposed to be taking. So you know, like weed replaced everything. It can help me sleep. It helps with my PTSD. It helps with I have anxiety, stuff like that. You're not my therapist, so I'll stop there. But
No,
you
that's
know,
okay.
like,
And I suppose you've heard about like all the research that they're doing now into like mushrooms and all microdosing.
I have heard about that, and you know what? So, actually, a physician that I know brought it up to me more recently because they were like, it might really help you, and I was like, tripping. I have never done that. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, like I am still trying to be a fully functional individual. Like if it's not prescribed to me, I'm probably not going to do it. You know, I'm a responsible bitch.
Mushrooms are amazing.
Well,
They're
great
just
to know because I
awesome.
still haven't tried them. So thanks for rubbing that in my fucking face.
But look, like there's a certain way of doing it. Like don't fucking leave the house or don't go into like the city center when you're fucking off your head on mushrooms. Like
yeah, that's
just
not a good idea.
sit at home with like one or two people who you know and love and trust, and just listen to Pink Floyd, and you'll just have an amazing time.
Let me ask you this: is it safe to watch movies? Because like you know, because movies can like incite emotions.
No, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, so just music.
Yeah, because some days, you know, I remember Frodo jumped out. I remember Frodo jumped out with a TV at me one time, and that kind of freaked me out.
I had a really bad. You ever hear about the K2? It's like it was like a synthetic marijuana.
Sure.
Back. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't. This was in the very beginning when it first hit the market. I tried that shit and I had a bad trip. Like I think the third time I ever used it, and this is what I saw. I was laying in bed. My friend was staying over, and she was like passed out asleep. All right, she already out cold, right? But I was like still like super hyper aware, but then I started getting tired, right? I look at the door and I see, swear to God, what seemed like a witch. And my body was frozen. I couldn't scream. I couldn't fucking move my eyes. It was the most horrific fucking experience. So if you've ever like considered synthetic anything, don't. It's a bad idea, guys.
Don't. My wife's cousin died after smoking some of that shit.
Oh my God. Yeah, there were a lot of horrible stories like that. Like I only tried it, like I said, like probably 3 or 4 times, but that third time cured it. Like that was the last time I ever tried it because I was like, weed doesn't give me a bad trip.
Of course, yeah.
Weed's always a great time.
Yeah, and even if you do smoke too much of it, you just like, I'm going to bed.
Right, you're like so high, you got to take a nap. Like
yeah.
Non-aggressive, dude. So are you a smoker? Are you allowed to smoke? Can you say that?
Just now and again, occasionally. Like I don't. I've got 2 little kids here, so I don't get much time to do it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, occasionally. You know.
Is it hard to get a hold of out there?
No, well, now that I'm on the border, it's not meant to be so hard to get. I've not gotten any from across the border yet.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah, no, but I'm look, I only moved here not so long ago. It's just as I get to know more and more people. Like I don't know the barman well enough yet to ask him.
Right.
But I will.
Got it. You're gonna.
Yeah, just kind of like start putting on like Bob Marley and Pink Floyd on the jukebox from time to time. Just kind of drop it in there amongst all the Czech death metal.
You know what I do when I like want to kind of drop the hint but I want to find out if someone's a smoker. I'm not trying to find weed because then I can't do this. It won't work. But like if I want to find out if somebody's a smoker, I'll just like smoke as I'm walking by them and see if they say anything. Or if they like, you know, how they react to it. Because it's like...
Yeah. Because it's like a dog with his ears going up. I'm like that.
Exactly.
Every time I go to a concert, I'm like, someone smoking. I can smell it.
Exactly.
Smell it.
You're like, where
They're
you
over
at,
there.
homie? Where you at? Where's the van? Is there a van? You're probably just right here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad that we got to talk today and you
Me
got
too, B.
into
Thank you.
some shit with me.
Magic. That was great. Yeah, it was
Thank
great
you
fun.
so much for
Thank
hanging
you a lot.
in. I'm so
no
sorry
problem.
it took so long and
worry
had
about it.
every fucking problem. If I had to recreate this problem, I couldn't. I seriously still don't. I'm watching this record and I have checked it several times. I'm like, I don't know why you weren't working before, but I don't want to chance it now, bitch. To remind our listeners one more time where they can find you besides a podcast app, because obviously they'll know that.
Yeah, sure. So look, the easiest thing to do is just go to thecomedycast.com. My website is obviously there. That's a fucking stupid thing to say. There are how many? I think there's about 200 episodes now that I've done. So just tons and tons of stand-up comedians and comedy professionals from all over the English-speaking world and even some non-English speakers as well. But yeah, tons of stuff of great comedians there, and you'll get all my social media stuff there. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and yeah, the documentary Funny How, my TV pilot, you can watch that as well. Thank you very much.
Cool, because I'm gonna be stalking you now. This is
Awesome.
how you
Thanks.
just opened up the door. So there you go. All right, thank you, Spud Murphy. I'm Shay. Thank you guys, everybody. I appreciate you showing the fuck up, even though, you know, it's just me and it's lonely. But it wasn't today. It wasn't just me. I had company. So, yay! Thank you for joining us on Daddy Issues, brought to you by the Dirty Minds of the Damaged Goods Network. Don't forget to tip the ladies at paypal.me/tiptheladies. Find more guilty pleasures and our dirty secrets at damagegoodsinc.com. Click, play, obsess.